So please be kind to the Romanians. They don't know what they've done. They're innocent little creatures. All Europeans, no, Romanians as the. No, I can't do that. That's too cruel to mislead the Americans into thinking that. However,
every Romanian I've ever met has been a very nice person.
They are absolutely lovely, of course. They just are disproportionately represented in loving leather wallets. However, we're not talking about their love of leather wallets today.
Just a quick thing. I've been friends with V, a Romanian, for years, right? And if there's one thing I've learned about Romanians is they're a profoundly cynical people. They like the fact that we British are like naively optimistic about morality, but they're a lot more realistic about things.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of consequences of that for us.
Oh, is there? Really? Okay.
So we'll start off by promoting something on lotus.com, which will solve everything I'm about to tell you is wrong in the world, which is why feminist immigration will save the West. I keep bringing this up on every immigration segment because I'm not joking. I keep saying this every time as well. Like, do it. Get on with it. Anyway,
yeah.
Get back to it. Because the news is that I stole this title from the fact that you can't make fun of the disabled because there's nothing funny about them.
No.
As everyone will know who enjoys Ricky Gervais. Anyway, getting back to them on another time, though. It's a lovely bit of comedy for people who don't know about the fact that, the storyline is telling you don't make fun of the disabled whilst mocking them because David Brent and his mess up. Now, at the same time, a similar thing has happened with immigration, of course. Now, the whole reason this came to my mind is that the BBC, this chap here, decided to do a lovely little report, lovely bit of local journalism in London. Come down. Oh, all the years of rough sleeping. I've never seen anything like this. Ooh.
What I love about this is this is literally going to be like 10 minutes walk away from the BBC studios. So like the hard-hitting journalism, they walked around the block.
It's finally on my street.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, I don't know if someone mentions it here. Oxford Street, there we are. So yeah,
literally, it's going to be right next to them.
But Jesus Christ.
God.
But we shall begin because, it's a serious topic, homelessness. It's hugely grown in the last 20 years for some reason. And so I
Since
thought
about 1997 when something happened.
I'm telling you, man, it really is like the day everything changed.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
whatever graph you pick.
Yes.
But
yes. Tony Blair did this to us.
We'll start with his news report on how are things going around the BBC office.
London, July 2023. 3 a.m. on Britain's most famous shopping street. Along a small section of Oxford Street, dozens of people rough sleeping.
At least we're not just handing them out needles and drugs like San Francisco.
It could be worse. Things can always get worse.
Yeah. And at least they're Romanians, so they're not that. It's like.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously,
they've got reasonable expectations of us.
Most responses were just like, "Oh, how could this be happening to the British?" Yeah, but of course, most of us have seen a statistic or two about London. So I'll let this guy talk on.
Most of them, we're told, are Romanian. Some have jobs, some are begging, some are illegal, all are homeless.
Why would any of them need to be illegal?
The
borders are so wide open.
It's a good question.
Why would anyone need to be an illegal immigrant into this country? I just don't understand.
Well, for Romanians, they could come here whilst we were part of the EU for a short period. So there's that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's Romanian is actually quite odd. It's not usual that Romanians are this level of homeless.
Mm.
And we'll get back to that in a minute. Strange. But he goes on because he then interviews one of the local homeless people. And of course, they can barely speak English.
There are at least 62 people sleeping in this small area. Mainly men, but women as well, including couples. One of Britain's most famous streets being used as a bed by scores of people. As we were filming, 24-year-old Fernando woke up.
It's not easy life in the street because sometimes no have eating, no have money. Some people is drugs, drinking, come here, push like this, speaking no speak nice.
This is terrible. How could this happen to a Spanish chap here? Spain is just a third world country. Of course he came to London to be homeless. Much better.
Is he Spanish, though? Just because his name's Fernando doesn't necessarily mean he's Spanish.
I was referring that a little bit from the accent, but either way.
Also, I couldn't make it out. It was bloody.
Not a local chap?
Yeah, an average British man.
The normal solution would be go home, I would have thought, in my opinion. Most responses were not that, though. But real quick, just want to prove something, which is the question I said earlier about, if you're Romanian, it's quite unusual to be homeless, actually. Well, I have some data.
Oh, yeah.
There you are. list of sovereign states by homeless population.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can already see the color difference there. But so Romania, for every 10,000 people, they have 7 homeless people. In the UK, we have 54.4.
Bloody hell, really?
It's massively shot up over the last 20 years since something
Since
happened.
the event.
Yeah. Tell you, man, the Mitchell and Webb stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's aged really well, hasn't it?
Remain
And-
indoors.
And the irony is, like, I love in the little segment, the event. They can't talk about the event. They can't look outside, and it's literally how we are now. It's like we can't talk about it. Why? Because it's racist. We can't talk about it. Yeah, it's just not allowed. We just have to soldier on in a very British fashion.
Whereas Wikipedia are doing a bit better on being able to talk about things, such as listing some data.
Really?
They're still allowed to, apparently. I don't know whereabouts it is, but there we are. Historical population of Romanians in the UK. You can know, in 2007, it was 24,000. It's now 539,000.
2001, it was 7,000.
Yeah. This is perfectly natural and normal, I am told. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it's totally normal for us to have 500,000 Romanians in Britain.
Love since we do Brexit, there's 240,000 more there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is weird because it was non-EU migration that went up mostly.
Hmm.
Okay.
The Romanians massively up so. And
But you can see in 2019 to 2020, a minus 20% drop. So 100,000 of them left. And then 200,000 were like, no, we're going back. Why?
I know there'll be a lot of Romanians watching being like, I suspect a certain type of Romanian has made that journey.
This is what I like about the cynical Romanian worldview.
Yeah.
They're very, very blunt about things.
Unfortunately for V, you're not allowed to say such things here, so
Yeah.
we'll leave that there, but you're probably right. Anyway, we'll go to the responses, because the responses are the thing that really made me think, like, the BBC being stupid, whatever. But what is wrong with people? This is just criminal what the Tories have done?
I mean, hold that thought. Yes.
Technically, yes. They have kept the borders open.
No, they haven't just kept the borders
They've
open.
widened them.
They've widened the borders. So, yes, you are correct, but for the wrong reasons, John.
There's some other guy here who went out with it's Brexit's fault. How could Brexit do this to us?
What?
For many, many years, the Tories and Brexiteers, especially Tory Brexiteers, have said that they want to turn the UK into another USA. Look like they're really achieving that.
Don't get me wrong. Again, totally right for the wrong reasons. I agree. I don't want to turn Britain into the United States of America, but that's what the European Union is trying to do to Europe. You morons.
Including the open borders for illegals. I mean, that's kind of a feature of the US at this point.
Literal federal superstate spanning a continent. Ah, yes, we don't want to be just like America. That is America. Morons. Anyway, sorry.
There's also another argument I saw quite often, but this next chap encompasses it, which is just seeing how far leftists have removed themselves from the working man to their new concerned constituency. A first step to solving the problem would be to confiscate all the palaces, cottages, barns, and stables
Cottages?
from the aristocrats.
What? What?
I'm sorry. And then convert them into accommodation for the homeless.
I've seen this take before. Well, can't we put the homeless in Buckingham Palace? No, we can't put homeless foreigners in Buckingham Palace, okay? As a Brit, I find that demeaning. I don't want the Palace of Buckingham to be populated by homeless foreigners.
But at least 20 years ago, someone might have made an argument to you, Carl, being like, well, the homeless who fought for this country, put them up in Buckingham Palace. Why
The
not?
homeless who fought for this country.
Well, homeless ex-servicemen or something, right?
Yeah, but none of them...
But that's what's changed.
Yeah.
Like, that argument might have been made 20 years ago by a leftist.
Yeah.
It sounded, somewhat convincing, but for Romanians who would be much better off from Romania in the homeless department, according to the stats, by almost 10 times. But
Yep.
no, they want to be homeless in London, so give them Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
I mean, it's just
Well,
utterly
they probably get
nuts.
money from the government, so...
Oh, there's that too. But there's some other stuff. I saw people responding, this is Edgware Road. These were all Roma.
Oh, really?
The other ones, we're not sure if they were Roma. Can't say. Who would know? Anyway, I have a solution, in case you're wondering. It's a cheaper one than Buckingham Palace. Skyscanner. It's a lovely website where you can get cheap flights. We're not sponsored by them, but if you want to, go ahead.
Wow,
Yeah.
those are cheap flights.
Yeah, these are to Romania. I mean, we go to the
What?
capital here for £16. There you are, from London to Bucharest there. This is in a month's time. This is in October. So you don't even have to wait long.
Jesus.
There we are. Some more of the expensive foreign destinations, but I mean, the cheapest one, 11.
I had no idea you get flights that cheap.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, you really need to learn. That's
Yeah.
good. Skyscanner, sponsor us, for Christ's Give me some money. I could say more nice things about you and display more.
Yeah, that's unbelievably cheap. Okay.
But my point being, I think, like, that guy begging.
Yeah, he could beg enough to get a flight back, yeah.
I mean,
And probably buy himself food on the way back.
not being funny, but what? What kind of world is it where you could actually go begging and get a plane ticket? That's the world we live in.
I mean, you would think that would be a good and positive capitalist success story.
Instead, it seems that you go begging in Romania and get enough flight to get a flight to the UK, but then you just settle in. Because why not, I suppose. And you may remember the story of the Romanians in the UK, as being a very specific instance, was brought up by Nigel
Oh,
Farage
yeah.
once upon a time.
He was like, wasn't he like, millions of them could come? And they were like, don't be a racist. Of course not. I was like, well, racist against Romanians.
Yeah.
Racist against my fellow Europeans.
I mean,
okay, if you say so, but he's not wrong, is he?
I mean, there are questions about the Italians, but the Romanians? I mean, of all the Balkan people. Anyway, but him here saying that maybe quite a few of them might want to come, and obviously they did. You may remember at the time, I remember Charlie Brooker making this, for example. I don't know if you ever saw Charlie Brooker's stuff.
Oh, yes, I used to like it.
Yeah, so there was this section from his Screen Wipe where he's like, in 2014, look, because you may remember that's when they started getting free access. And a whole one man came on the plane.
Ah, yes, Charlie.
And the media made this whole thing of like, oh, there was only one of them. Oh, and who is it? It's this guy. What do you want to do, Mr. Victor? And he's like, I want to get a job.
Well, can we go back to how many Romanians were here in 2014? Just on your...
just one, wasn't it? It's just...
170,000. Right, okay.
It had already started coming.
So the media did their due diligence, checked the stats, and found one guy on one plane. And we're like, well, there we go. That's my job done.
I am done for the week.
Yeah.
Cheerio.
I'm going for a pint.
Of course, Victor became like their poster boy because that's what they want you to believe, which is literally one man came. And that was it.
Yeah.
So you have here, here's Victor saying, I don't have any reason to go home because he's got a great life, now working construction or whatever. I think he's running his own company, actually.
Good for him.
Yeah, obviously. Great. But the numbers...
I'm glad that he's not a homeless man in the street.
But there are plenty of them, which Romania has less of per 10,000.
What do you want?
There was a rather funny moment, though, where he did do an interview and was just like, I hate it.
Really?
Yeah. Romanian says he wants to go home now. Regrets choice.
Well, if it helps, it's only £11.
So
I could give you that myself, my friend.
There is that. And meanwhile, Romania jumped to be the fourth largest source of migrants to the UK, which again has ended up with not just people who want to set up their own company, but instead people who want to pay £11 to beg in London.
I just want to point out, right, that unironically, behind you is a statue of Poseidon, and I every morning wake up and I literally pour out a libation to Poseidon to make the North Sea and the English Channel just the most unpalatable, uncrossable death typhoon you can imagine.
Well, that would only be for the sea people.
That's fine.
Your problem is the
It's
numbers
fine.
of legal as well.
Just something, right? Just something, right? Because I mean, maybe I'll pray to some sort of sky god to send tornadoes that mean the planes are grounded and hurricanes, so the planes are grounded. But we have literally we've fallen back on purely the anthropomorphized instruments of nature itself to defend Britain because no one else fucking will.
You start making sacrifices to Vulcan, see if you can get Reykjavik to start pluming out smoking.
Maybe.
Remember that?
We haven't tried it.
Grounded all of Europe.
It hasn't failed yet.
So,
right?
you know.
Maybe we should. I'm not against this at all. And honestly, I can't think of anything else because there's literally no other political party in Westminster that even gives a damn or will do anything.
So you're standing for the Vulcan party now?
Yeah, I'm literally standing for not just Vulcan, the entire ancient Greek pantheon, actually. Vulcan's the Roman one, but the entire ancient Greek pantheon to save Britain from our politicians.
Well, it's worth a shot. Definitely give you that.
Poseidon hasn't failed me yet. The Conservatives, on the other hand, a constant disappointment. So where are you going to put your faith?
But please be kind to the Romanians.
I don't have a problem with the Romanians.
Nothing.
I have a problem with the bloody politicians.
Nothing Roma about them.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's one other conversation to be had that's pocked up in immigration debates, and I think you saw it as well.
Just begging for natural disasters.
Well, that one as well. But a lot of toffs started talking about their blessed land, the city of London, and that's about it. The only thing they really care about.
Oh yeah, the blessed land that is the city of London.
There you are. So this guy here being like, there should be no social housing, and this chap going, there should be no social housing in this area.
Well, I mean, I agree with him.
Just this part.
Just for the wrong reasons.
Well, I don't know. I'm all up for social housing, even in London, to be honest. And I could make a very good argument on the basis of, let's say you've got...
I want to inflict pain on you.
No, if you've got a chap who's, let's say the best case scenario, the one that's always advertised when you're making a government policy, that's never really true, but whatever.
Yeah.
Might as well. There's a guy in Newcastle, he's a genius. He would be a financial whiz. He would make us loads of money. So maybe, if he wanted access to a house in London to jumpstart his career, that would be a perfect thing for us to be able to offer to someone like that. So it wouldn't just be social housing, but,
Then we're going to give out literally 3 of these a year.
Yeah, but that's not what any of those houses are used for, obviously. This chap here responded with no, utterly no, and no again, to be clear. They have as much right to live in London as you or I do. A good state provides for them, for you, for me, and the Duke of Westminster at the same time.
In fact, scroll down. I think I've got the top reply to this.
So you're just telling him to kill himself.
No. where does my right to live in London at taxpayer expense originate?
Who knows? Who
Like-
knows what it could possibly be?
But I looked at this guy's profile. He claims to have a PhD in philosophy or something.
It's a citizen of London.
Doctor of philosophy. Sorry, what? How can you have a doctor of philosophy and say something as unsubstantiated as that?
Well, I mean, not to be rude, but I mean, look at the age.
And just look at his face.
Yeah, raise the voting age.
Physiognomy check.
Get me out of it, frankly.
Yeah.
But moving on, because there's some people making the point, of course, which is that the Tory manifesto now, if that's to be true, is that people who weren't here 20 years ago are now, well, they deserve social housing in the centre of London, somewhere which, as I mentioned, if you could get a kid from the north who really struggles, we could jumpstart his career with that. Instead, we just have to give it to foreigners. I mean, there's the data. It's a bit small on there, but you can see of people in social housing who arrived after 2001.
Yeah.
There you are, 18%, 19%.
20% of the city of London is on
Yeah.
social housing.
The
God.
people who arrived in the last 20 years. Of course, that's not the only people who just turned up and are foreign born are still demanding free housing because literally give me that for free. We can see it here with the Labour Party trying to help such
Yep,
people.
yep.
This was a story.
She had a video that went viral that she put on TikTok saying, "Are you illegal in the UK? I'll help you with everything that can be done." And you'd think the Conservatives would be like, "Okay, give us a list because we're going to repeal it all."
Well, I mean, there's kind of a common theme for such people as well. I'm not trying to be rude, but this lady here, Miss Ali,
Yeah.
I think she might come from a certain community that overuses such housing.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Does she?
This chap here was making the argument that Khalid, the neurosurgeon, seems to be taking up rather a lot of it. And presumably the neurosurgeons she was helping were, I mean, this is a left-wing meme real quick
Yeah.
that you'll see all the time. They're stealing our jobs. Yes,
Yeah,
Gary,
yeah.
with your single GCSE. Well, let's check out Khalid, the
Well, he
neurosurgeon.
doesn't have any bloody GCSEs.
But Khalid wouldn't be talking about GCSEs if he was a neurosurgeon. You ever meet someone who's got like a degree in the sciences and they tell you, oh, got an E in Spanish? They just never bring it up, do they?
Got to be in maths though, so you know.
No, here we have
Yeah.
the Bangladeshi community that Miss Ali may come from. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah,
Don't know what the giveaway could be. Percentage
61% in Hammersmith and Fulham.
City of London. There's not much social housing, obviously. 80%.
69% in Tower Hamlets.
80% of all Bangladeshis in the City of London, the really rich part, live in social housing. Why is there any in the City of London?
81% in Westminster.
The only low percentages are literally just because the Bangladeshis all stay in the same place,
Yeah,
as you can see here. 88%
That is-
found them.
44% of all Bangladeshis in London are in social housing. That is mad.
Yes.
That is
I just get that
mad.
through your head. You're paying for it. You're
Yeah.
paying for half of all the Bangladeshi population of London to have a free house because they deserve it more than you or I, or as much as you or I.
And I just want to be clear, I don't think that we should be paying for British people to have free houses in London either. Like, I'm against the idea of us just giving money to people.
But at least, as I mentioned earlier, for that chap who was talking about the Romanians, 20 odd years ago, you could argue for, we got Gary here, who has those 3 GCSEs, who fought for the British Army, who kind of wants a house because,
Get a job, Gary.
he's got PTSD or whatever. Let's say the best case scenario. Let's say, fair enough. Okay, we'll help you on
Get
your
a
feet.
job that isn't triggering.
And then we'll get you back into a job,
Yeah.
right? But instead, no, literally our position is foreigner central. I do love, it's not the highest percentage though, that 44%. We have here our good friend
Drukva.
just making a good meme.
Yeah, oh yeah, he does.
I don't know if you've read the number here. 72%
Yes.
of Somalis.
I
In
covered this the
London.
other day with Peter Whittle. Literally nearly 3/4 of all the Somalis in London
Have
are being
just
paid
just
for
as
by
much a
British-
right to a free house as anyone else's child in this country. I mean, you might have worked hard all your life to make sure you can pay for things. Maybe your children would have some kind of access to a safety net. But I tell you, that safety net is really for Somalia.
Remember this next time you see the taxes come out of your wage slip.
It's
Just
actually-
literally, just remember this. You're paying for good, honest, I was going to say hardworking, but obviously not, Somalians to live in social housing.
There you have it. Literally-
And social housing sounds like abstract, right? No, you're paying for them to live in a house.
free state housing.
Free state housing, yeah.
There you are. But we'll have the last thing here.
No,
Which
but
is
even the word free, that's too much because that makes it sound like
state-funded housing.
yeah, it descended from the skies and that it's unconnected with anything. No. You're paying for Somalians to live in London. Why?
Well,
Why the hell?
Wouldn't you like to? Well, probably not live in London. That's
No.
But wouldn't you like to live in a London that a different kind of? Wouldn't it be a kind of boost to your career if you could have that for free? Well, they do. Anyway, but this is just the last point here from Matthew Goodwin, which is that, I mean, never even mind the state-funded housing. I mean, we can have a whole other conversation about the other stuff.
Yeah.
But we're not here to do that. Instead, we're here to be kind to Romanian Romas and such others, because it is their land now, and enjoy London. It is belonging to you. You have just as much a right to it to anyone else in the world, apparently, at least according to the Tory toffs. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the premium book clubs, this one on Julius Evola's Fascism Viewed from the Right. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.